Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon from India, where I hook up with Dimitris Mainikis, who's the president for Europe, Middle East, and Africa for Wyndham Hotels and Resorts. He logs in from London, I'm from Delhi, and this is the next edition of the BW Hotelier Dialogue series. Right. Welcome to the show, Dimitris.
Thank you very much. Great to be here. Both of us dialing from hundreds of miles away or thousands of miles away, but still managing to do this. This is spectacular. Hello to you and your viewers.
And we were supposed to meet on ground in Delhi today.
And we were supposed to be meeting today, but time will come again. Time will come again.
Sure, we'll see you soon again.
Yes. God bless.
Dimitris has a long-standing career and deep knowledge of the hospitality industry. In his current role as the president for Europe, Middle East, and Africa, he's responsible for the development of Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, the entire range of brands that they carry for the region, as well as maximizing the performance of all new and existing franchise and managed hotels. He focuses on driving the strategic objectives of Wyndham, including quality, technology solutions, as well as new businesses, loyalty, sales, and marketing. A Greek that he is, a lot to take from the historic figure that we all know, Socrates, right? And he shall let us know more about that soon. But this Greek now lives in London, right?
True.
Wyndham Hotels and Resorts is the world's largest hotel franchising company with 8,900 hotels. Shall we count them to 9,000 soon?
Yeah, it is interesting. First of all, it's lovely to be here with you, and at the same time, talking about Socrates. An interesting thing about Socrates, he actually said a lot of things, but he never wrote anything. It was his pupils that carried his wisdom, and I find that this fascinating. This man actually said so many things and hasn't actually written anything. But going back to Wyndham, we're a great success story. We are the world's biggest franchisor, as you said, 8,900 hotels, 90 countries, 20 amazing brands. And are we going to get into 9,000? I mean, we at some point we were signing up 2 hotels a day or opening up 2 hotels a day. We've got a great set of brands. We've got a great group of people that is out there signing deals as we speak. So I'm very confident that very soon not only we're going to get to the 9,000, but we're gonna pass that by miles. It is important at today's world that the team is out there actually doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, promoting hospitality.
And so the count of rooms that I have for Wyndham all over the world is just 4,000 shy of 800,000 rooms. Is that right? 706,000 rooms?
Yep. But those things, thank God, as I said, we've got a great team, and those things change every day, yeah?
Yeah.
to the positive.
So tell me, Dimitris, how has your experience been thus far in your current role as the president for Europe, Middle East, and Africa?
I think that we keep on missing Eurasia, and it's Europe, Middle East, Eurasia, and Africa. And that's the Eurasia part, which is the interesting part, because that's in your part of the world. That's the Indian subcontinent. So it has been overwhelming. It has been an amazing experience. I have the pleasure and the honor to work for a company that has enormous values, has a great group of people, and has an amazing set of brands. I mean, if you look at the 20 brands that we have and the presence that we have in all over the world, I think the job has actually given me a lot of opportunities to learn. I've been in hospitality. I've traveled like yourself. I've traveled. I lived in various parts of the world. But the people that I've met the last 3 years that I've been with Wyndham Hotels and Resorts is just incredible. Incredible journeys, incredible people, and a great amount of success. The success not just on a personal level, but on a company level. So for me, it has always been a learning game. You never stop learning, and I've learned so much the last 3 years that I've been with Wyndham Hotels. Is just a remarkable story. So I'm really blessed to be here. Really blessed.
Oh, that's so. Why don't you tell me about the entire region that you cover?
It has a very sometimes I try to explain to my US colleagues that we've got 45 countries, so many different languages and religions and currencies, and they live in a world that they have one currency and one language, literally, or two. I think the diversity of the region is what makes it extremely exciting. You've got Europe, which is a far more mature market. You've got the UAE, or the Middle East market, which has so many differences. You've got Eurasia, the Indian Peninsula. So many exciting things happening in your part of the world. And then you've got the African continent. I mean, it's just such a diverse region, and so many things that you can learn every single day that makes it overwhelming. I would say the word overwhelming is how I feel. Sometimes I get all our team members together, and it's like the United Nations. I mean, literally, you get on a Zoom call with our team members, and it's literally like the United Nations, and that makes this job so exciting and so rewarding.
So tell me, 20 brands, and they are split across 6 categories. Well, that is impressive and can be a huge growth driver for your company and region per se. It is Ramada that is driving Wyndham as the engine of growth in its foray here. Let us hear from you your plans and vision to take to our viewers here now for the full power of Wyndham.
Yeah.
Wyndham's 20, as we call it. It would be good to hear from you and the significance of the region as you drive growth.
Okay, it's first of all, we've been blessed to have a great growth in the Indian subcontinent, especially in India. Ramada is definitely growing fastest. Is definitely driving our growth. We are very keen. And we are looking aggressively into the budget sector. We've got some amazing budget brands like Days Inn and Super 8. I think India is ready, and we've seen the examples, is ready for us to bring those 2 brands into the country. And at the same time, one of the key things for India is for people to discover the incredible India. Our job is not just to put another brand or to add another hotel. Our job as Wyndham is to introduce India to the 85 or 86 million Wyndham Rewards members that we have, and at the same time make sure that the 25 million Indians, the outbound industry that they travel abroad, they actually stay at one of our properties when they travel. connect. You see, for us, it's not just about putting another sign on a hotel or putting another sign in front of somebody's door. It's actually connect our community and do the best or our duty of care for the destination. We believe in India. We have a great team in Gurgaon in India, and we have some amazing owners that they have trusted our brands. We just want to welcome more. We just want to bring more people into the Wyndham brands and make sure that people understand what exactly is our future plans for India. And I can tell you, for your viewers and for everybody, it's very simple. Grow, not just for growing purposes, but actually meaningful growth. At the same time, introduce India, incredible India, to our 86 million Wyndham Rewards members. And at the same time, make sure that when people travel outside of India, they actually stay at a brand that they can trust. And that's the Wyndham brand or the Wyndham brands. That's in a nutshell, that's our growth plan for India.
Oh, excellent. Your organization in India is in good hands with Nikhil. He's a young, happening, thinking, extremely passionate and energetic young man.
Yep, absolutely. Right. Thumbs up.
Yeah. So he's obviously taking the places, and I've seen he's never ruffled. Having said that, what in your view is Wyndham's challenge and achievement thus far?
The challenge is very simple. It's a vast country. You need resources. So resources are absolutely key. Eyes that you don't see, you easily forget. You need people to knock on doors. So resources and finding the right resources is important. We've got a great leader in Nikhil, and beneath Nikhil, we've got a great team that actually covers all the aspects of hospitality. Focus for us has been India, so we need to make sure that we spread our focus into the Indian subcontinent, so include Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, these amazing destinations. But for India in particular, it's make sure that we increase the brand awareness, make sure that we continue to provide value to our owners so they can stay with us and bring more on board, make sure that our message is clear. Sometimes you've got 20 brands. What does that mean? Make sure that people understand what the message of Wyndham is and what the values of Wyndham. And I have to say, I always believed brands are not just a sign on somebody's door. I said it a number of times. It's the values, it's the culture, is the fact that you bring relationships that people can trust you. And at the same time, you need to make sure, and the pandemic has shown this to us, that you are there every single time of the day doing the best that you can for your owners. This is the number one message that needs to go out. And I'm so proud that every single person of Wyndham, I said to my team repeatedly, just pick up the phone, say thank you, or how are you doing today, or how can I help? You won't believe how far this goes, especially at times of distress and at times of we're all tested. These were the times that we will all need to get counted. And that is our promise to our owners. That is not just another sign on the wall. It's not just another brand. It's the value and the DNA that we bring into the relationship as well.
True. I keep coming back to India, right? I mean, you obviously, as the head of a business, would give, if not your right hand, at least a few fingers to tap into a happening country of 1.3 billion, right?
Yep.
Where do you find that one big country, which has got all the faiths, it's got perhaps all the languages, right? It's also got all the people, right? I mean, if you were to cut and slice our population by virtue of affordability and your target audience, you have roughly about 350 to 400 million people inbound or outbound, right? I mean, domestic or outbound,
yes,
who you can tap into, and that is many times over the population of most countries and more than the population of the United States of America. Having said that, how exciting is the Indian market for Wyndham, and which brands do you think will perform well over here? Why and when?
Oh, wow, wow. Okay, that's an interesting question. So, the excitement, I had the pleasure of living in India for a year and a half back in 1993 in Bangalore, and I learned so much. And you know what you said at the beginning. I am Greek. There's so many similarities between our culture and your culture, and the excitement, the passion, the empathy, and the commitment. I've always fighting with Nikhil whose civilization was first, the Indian or the Greek, and we ended up fighting for somebody else's cause. But I will answer your question. So I believe that the majority of the brands on our economy and budget sector, they have a great future in India. I'm very bullish about as I said earlier, about our Days Inn and Super 8 brands, because I believe they have a great offering for the budget and the economy space in India. I am very bullish about the 350 million middle class of Indians, that they will eventually, at some point, a portion of them or a percentage will actually travel abroad. So I believe that instead of just looking at the inbound or the domestic market, we have to think about the outbound market. Indian startups, Indian technology, Indian pharmaceuticals, India heavy industry is becoming far more important in the world today than ever before, and we see that every day. I was really surprised to see so many global CEOs being of Indian origin, and I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job in exporting the Indian culture and the way of life. So am I excited about India? Absolutely yes. When is it going to happen? You need to be careful. And this is important. Everybody would say, oh, you know what, I want to grow, I don't know, 30-40% in 1 year. You need to be careful, because we're not growing for growth sake. We're growing because we add value and because we care about what we do. So for me, duty of care is absolutely important. What is your duty of care as a brand and as a business? What are you going to do in order to make sure, instead of just signing up hotels and growing, you actually make sure that you actually deliver the value proposition? To me, that is very important. I think the next 2-3 years are going to be very critical. The world looks like a different place. We all change the way we travel. Corporate travel is going to be different. So I believe that from a Wyndham perspective, we are just getting ready to address those opportunities and those challenges in the future. And an optimist is a guy, I think Winston Churchill said that, is a guy who sees opportunities in difficulties. And this is what Wyndham has been doing all along. We keep on seeing the opportunities, and we keep on addressing the challenges. As long as we keep on doing this, and I'm confident that we are, the future of our brands and our business in India is absolutely great. I'm extremely confident about it. And because you did ask me when, I believe the next 2-3 years, you're going to see a lot of changes happening, and those who are part of the change, they're going to be the ones who are going to pick up the right fruits at the right time.
True. South Asia is happening, really. I mean, what we call locally, we call it SAARC, the region, right? I think there's a lot of hope, a lot of positivity. I mean, you can start from Nepal, get into Bhutan, get into Myanmar. Yes, there are hiccups, but they'll come out of it. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives. I don't know what's your presence in Afghanistan. I think you have 1 or 2 properties in Pakistan.
Yes.
Yeah. So so all these businesses are happening. Having said that, India is a very exciting place, and I wear my country on my sleeve, right? With pride. We'll come back to your stay in 1993 for a year and a half. We'll come towards the end of the interview. Said that you handle a fairly large region. if I was to ask you, Dimitris, how would you stack the various parts of your portfolio, as in geographies? How would you stack them?
Oh wow, it's like asking which child is your favorite one. Depending on who's in front of you, you're gonna answer the question accordingly.
But
I'll tell you,
they're still your children.
like, okay, yeah, there's still look. As I said, I'm excited about the whole region. Allow me though to talk about India in particular, not because I'm talking to an Indian population, but because I truly believe this. I believe that the opportunities in India, because of the things that are happening in your country and as I said, in the Indian subcontinent, I believe that they hold a far brighter future for all of us. And people will talk to you about the UAE, and they mention Dubai or the mature markets of Europe or the growing nature of Africa. They're all valid. They're all valid comments. They're all exciting industries, exciting countries, exciting places to be. In India in particular, though, I believe that the combination of entrepreneurship, you have so many startups happening in India, the fact that, you export talent, the creation of talent in India and the education is just phenomenal. And at the same time, the vast cultural differences among the country. We tend to talk about India, but it's not just India. There are many different countries within India, aren't they? Every region almost has its own values and its own. This gives you an enormous diversity and opportunity to explore things, not just from a business perspective, but personally as well. So I don't view India as one country. I view India as many different countries that multiply those countries with the opportunities. It makes it a mind-blowing opportunity for the future. You know what? I want to do justice to Europe. I want to do justice, as I said, to the Middle East and all the great things that are happening in Africa. Here, what I see in India, is one country, but really having, 10 countries or 12 countries within one country. That actually multiplies the opportunity. That's why we're so excited. It's not just, people think, oh, it's the population, it's the 1.2 billion. No, it's not the population. It's actually the diversity within the country that allows all these opportunities to actually flourish, not just for us, for any other hospitality brand. And you've got some amazing local brands that everybody is so proud of. And something that last thing from me on this is the export of talent. You have created in hospitality so much talent. There are so many general managers, sales and marketing guys, ops people in so many hotels around the world that are of Indian origin. You have managed to create a pool of talent that actually makes a difference for hospitality, and we should never forget that. That to me is what I see as the opportunity of the future.
Talent. India has no dearth of talent, right? We've exported some of the finest CXOs. I mean, if you were to look around the entire global tech space, more often than not, you'll find all those companies being headed by Indians, not just Microsoft, Adobe, Google, right, or MasterCard, or Pepsi. You've got them all. So you've got those guys sitting in the right place. Dimitris, 2020 has not been very easy, right? We've seen pot boilers from Hollywood. Not even Steven Spielberg would have come out with such a script, right? It's been one hell of a washout. Imagine when we couldn't even shake hands. We needed to cover our faces. We couldn't get out of our homes. It's been a washout, right? But let me tell you, the world has faced this pandemic really well. I mean, really stoically well. Coming back to Wyndham, how have you been able to salvage some of your deliverables? And do you think the virus and the vaccine have played different roles? And will the vaccine help to inject some hope in the field of tourism and hospitality?
Wow. What we have done, one of the things that we've done quite relatively quickly, I remember Eva and the rest of my team in Hammersmith in London when, it was, I think, the 13th of March 2020 when we said we're going to close the office and see each other in 2 weeks. Because we nobody thought that it's going to take longer than that, and here we are a year later, and we still haven't met physically. One of the things that we actually did, and I'm with hindsight is a great thing. We actually understood very quickly that this is not going to be just 2 weeks. This is going to be a far longer. So, and when we sat down as a business, we said, okay, what are the key things that we have to do to go through this? And the survival of our owners was our number one priority. The safety of our guests and the safety of our own team members. But the duty of care, and I keep on going back to the duty of care. Sometimes we do forget what is our duty as a business. Our duty as a business is to look after our teams, look after our owners, and make sure that they go through and they survive with you. Because I keep on telling people, there's no franchise business without franchisees. You need your owners to survive. So we've taken some really hard measures to support our franchisees. We've taken a lot of difficult measures for a business to make sure that they stay alive. We protected our own liquidity. We protected our teams. We closed our offices. We stay all working from home. One day we were in the office. The next day we were on a Zoom platform. So all of these things we've taken with one thing in mind, that there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. That there will be a day that people will shake hands again. There will be a day that people will travel again, and it's happening. It's actually happening. Our CEO, Jeff Ballotti, he was on CNBC a couple of days ago, and he was talking about the occupancies in the US. There are weekends that occupancies are reaching 80% and 85%. And you see the pictures from Florida and Texas, people are traveling. The vaccine is going to help. What we need to do, though, is never forget the lessons we learned. We learned a lot of things in 2020 on a personal level, on a corporate level, on a relationship level. We shouldn't go back being exactly who we were a year ago. We should all remember the lessons that we learned, and we need to make sure that we change our behavior, if I can say, in order to not allow things that we've done before 2020 to just repeat themselves. And never, people say never let a crisis go wasted, and I'm a strong believer of that. We learned so many things the past 12 months that we should never forget them. We should make them part of our lives. Saying thank you, pick up the phone and talk to people, the importance of family time, the importance of keeping your business afloat, the safety of your guests, the economic relief that you support your franchisees with. As I said, pick up the phone and say thank you. These are things that we should never forget. But that's my big lesson.
Some of the lessons your guests have picked are not very good for you.
Look,
the lessons the guests have picked up is that you can work without traveling.
Yeah, but you know what? I remember, if you read the history books, I remember when human beings were living in cages and were living in caves and they didn't socialize and they only traveled for food. I don't think these days are going to come back again. People want to meet people. People want to meet families. People want to go and shake hands. I am very social interaction, no matter how great Zoom is or any other online platform. People want to go and sit at a restaurant and have a nice meal and be served by a smiling waiter. I don't think I don't think I don't think that these things will ever go away. And I'm looking forward personally, as you said at the beginning, we were supposed to have this meeting or this conversation face to face today in Delhi over a cup of coffee, shaking hands and smiling from across the table with each other. You know what? This is great. We're still doing it, but
And
it
we're
can
coming back.
never replace.
We're
It
coming back.
can never replace. Exactly. It can never
And,
replace having
and
you on the other side of the table.
let me tell you, we humans are social beings, right? So nothing is going to stop that. Having said that, for almost 6 months ago, travel started happening as if by vengeance, right? People started heading out of metros, they started traveling to resorts, and they started clocking in. The challenge was the revenue, right? The ARR, not the occupancy. The occupancies were happening. What's your view?
Look, you have to be careful. Lowering your rates and dropping your rates is not the answer, because once you drop them, you won't be able to get them back. So for us, you need to find your break. And I'm not an economist, but I know that our owners and the people who they live this every day, they know better. But you need to find your breakout point or your break-even point. You need to find what actually makes you viable financially. You need to get your team on board to support your ideas and your business concepts. But just dropping the rates, it's not the answer. It's definitely, because, as I said, once you drop them, you're never going to be able to bring them back.
But the reality is the rates have been dropped.
They have been, not into the extent that makes me extremely worried, to be fair. I think that those who dropped them, I'm sure they had a good reason to do it, and I'm sure they've got a plan how to bring them back. But if you look across the industry, it hasn't been a tremendous drop. It has been in various cases, but it hasn't been like universal, and it was happening all over the place. So, but again, a word of caution: if you do it, of course, it's part of your business plan. But if you do it, make sure that you've got a business plan of how you bring them back afterwards. And obviously, trust the right people, trust the right brands, and work with your brand partners in order to make sure that they've got a plan as well of how to help you bring those rates back. It's not hospitality. One of the things, again, that we learned, and we keep on reminding ourselves, hospitality is not one man's game. It's everybody's. We're all part of hospitality. The guy at the airport, the guy at the restaurant, the taxi driver, we're all part of hospitality. That's something that we should never forget. So dropping those rates doesn't actually affect you as a hotel owner and your team. Actually affects everybody around you.
So tell me, if you can share, would you share with us some of your broad targets that you set for the next 5 years on a strategic horizon, as a strategic plan? And how do you plan to achieve those objectives with a setback of at least a year and a half, which is this challenging environment? And if not now, a little later, when do you think we are going to be really out of the woods?
Okay, I have a great CEO, and he keeps on changing my targets upwards almost every month. He's not happy. He's not happy with me, and he doesn't want us to be complacent. So, and that is an amazing drive. We're not complacent. We've got a great pipeline in India. We've got about 29 hotels in our pipeline. We've got some great brands that we are gradually introducing. We just hired a new member in our team in the development side, so we have more people knocking on doors, and we are very bullish about the future in India. Now, the setback the year or the year and a half, yes, it has been a setback. But at the same time, I was extremely positively surprised to see our development team, our business development guys, going out and signing more and more deals. If you look at HVS report, they've done for India, you will see Wyndham on the number 1 and number 2 on international brands. And why? Despite the challenges, despite the curfew, despite the lockdowns, our people were out there traveling. Never underestimate the value of human interaction. You know what? You can do a great sales pitch on Zoom, but when you stand across the room and shake somebody's hand, that's invaluable. So what I believe and what is going to happen and how much time it will take, I believe that soon that value of human interaction will actually replace the lockdowns. It will replace the fear of not shaking hands. And that, to me, gives me a lot of confidence that we've got the right plan for India. I am extremely bullish and extremely confident, not just because we have the right brands and the right owners, it's the right time and we have the right team as well.
So tell me, in your view, I mean, a lot of people would have asked you this question. From where we stopped, right, where we broke the proverbial nib of the pen, right, in say March of 2020, right, we were at a certain level of business. When do you think we are going to hit that back? Tell me a period. Put your money and bet it.
Okay, if I'll put my money. First of all, I'll tell you what is happening with, if you monitor Wall Street, you'll see and again, CNBC actually reported on it. I think the headline at CNBC was 150% growth on Wyndham Hotels and Resorts share price. We are in a better position from a share price perspective than we were before the pandemic. That speaks a lot about the confidence of the investor community into what Wyndham Hotels and Resorts does. I already see the importance of human interaction, as you said. I see people signing up more hotels with us. So, although a year ago, I would tell you that I don't have a date when this is all going to come back. I am more confident to say that we are already in the rebound phase. We are already in the recovery. And I know that some of your viewers, I heard that Mumbai was in a lockdown yesterday. Some of your viewers might say, what is he talking about? I just had another lockdown. I cannot pay my rent or I cannot pay my stuff. I get it. And it hasn't been easy for anybody. But one of the great things about human beings and our industry is the resilience that we have, is the commitment that we have. And my message to all your viewers is that they don't view at brands like, oh, they have no soul or they can survive because of the size. Everybody was hurt out of this. Everybody felt the pain. The good thing was that when you have a great group of people and you have a great understanding and empathy of what exactly is happening out there, you are more likely to survive and rebound than somebody who stands alone. I always say to people, together we make a difference. And I think that is my message to your viewers as well, and to your listeners. Together we make a difference. It doesn't have to be if it's going to be a difference in 6 months or 8 months or 9 months, but together we all make a difference and we all have a role to play.
Absolutely. So tell me, as a hotelier, of course, somewhere in our interaction you've spoken about it. As a hotelier, if I was to ask you what are the top 3, 4 or 5 lessons that you've learned from the pandemic and the lockdown, right, and the unlock.
Okay, lessons that I've learned. As a hotelier, I think hoteliers are human beings, right? So we learned a lot of personal lessons as well. We learn how to smile behind the mask, or how to learn how to smile behind the mask. I think we learned that all the bells and whistles sometimes in a hotel room is not as important as we thought, and people are more, they care more about their health and safety and about that smile when they get into a property. We learn how to value simple things. One of the lessons in hospitality that we learned is, and as I said, picking up the phone, saying thank you, or asking somebody, how are you doing? I think this is a key lesson that we all learned. And the biggest lesson I believe in hospitality is that I've never seen such solidarity. We were at some point, we were all in this together. There was no competition, no brands, no small, big, or different cultures and different languages. We all became one, and that solidarity we should never let go or forget. That is the biggest lesson that I learned. Yes, we are competitors. Yes, we fight for market share. Yes, people fight for, but the solidarity I saw and the resilience that I saw in the hospitality industry is something that we should never forget. That's my biggest lesson.
Excellent. So that's wonderful to know. Tell me, it's not been very easy for not just hoteliers or people in the travel, tourism, and F&B space, for the world at large, right? They've suffered. I mean, some have gone jobless, the other ones have had their salaries slashed, and there are people who fought ill health, right? For all those people who are like you and me, we can sit and talk, being in jobs, right? We are blessed, right? May everybody be blessed. But tell me, at a social level, have you gone and done and served any social causes and serving food to the needy or any other such efforts that you at a personal or at a corporate level?
My God, you touched one of the most sensitive matters. People talk about the heroes, and they are absolutely heroes. I had friends who were doctors and nurses, and I saw what they've done. But I want to commend the heroes of hospitality as well. The people who stayed open, the people who served meals, the people in the local level. Look at some of our hotels in India; they served food to the poor and to the homeless. I see what we've done in the US. I've seen what we've done in other parts of the world. Every single hotel has done its duty of care to its community. I've never seen, and it's part of that solidarity that I spoke about earlier. I've never seen so many people getting together for the common good. I was so proud at some point to see so many of our hoteliers. We put a relief fund together to help jobless people, people who lost their jobs. The good news for those of you, and you're so right, we sit here in my flat in London and your beautiful home in Delhi, and we talk about, all these great things. And what about the people who lost their jobs? I feel so, I read the news this morning, for months, we see increase now on the job rates in the United States in hospitality. We see more and more people being employed. We see hotels opening and employing people back. We should never stop until we get everybody back. This should be one of our key targets as an industry. And I know that it's not going to be easy. Technology will replace a lot of jobs, and I know things are going to be tough. But you know what? We should never stop. We should never stop making sure that we can bring as many people back from those who've been affected and lost their jobs. On a personal level, I have a cause that I'm extremely proud, and I've been involved for years, and actually relates to India. I am on the board of Crystal House India. Crystal House is a beautiful school in Bangalore, supports kids from very poor communities. I'm on the board of the school in Europe, and I support India. When I lived in South Africa, I worked very closely with a Cape Town school, and Crystal House It's one of the charities that we support as Wyndham, and it's very close to my heart. I've visited the school with my team about a year ago, and it was such an amazing opportunity to see these kids and see what they have achieved, and the level of education. So it all starts with the kids. It all starts with the education. It all starts with making a difference in those lives, and our world is going to be a far better place. And that's my personal commitment, and that's what I do for my personal time. But as an industry, I think we've done the heroes of hospitality. We've done some amazing things for our local communities, and we keep on doing them. We will, and this is one of the other lessons we should never forget. Never forget to give back, because, as you said, we are among the blessed ones, and there are so many people who aren't.
So I'm so glad I asked you the question that I did ask. I've got two questions which I'm going to ask towards the end of our interaction. One of the better takeaways of the lockdown has been how we started valuing things, not just relationships, not just time, not just health, right? We took sustainability a lot more seriously, right? And sustainability for a high consuming industry of all resources is hospitality, right? Be it electricity, be it any kind of consumable, plastics, water, right? By way of air conditioning, lighting, the entire thing. What is your approach to sustainability in the hospitality industry then and now?
It hasn't actually changed. I think sustainability is not the flavor of the month or the year. Whoever discovered sustainability just in 2020, I think they were doing something wrong. Sustainability was a key part of Wyndham's strategy for years. It's part of our yearly reports. It's part of our message. It's one key part of our values. And again, I'm extremely proud to say that I am a member representing Wyndham Hotels and Resorts on the Hospitality Alliance. Hospitality Alliance, and I think a couple of the brands, of the Indian brands, are actually part of. It's a group of big companies and smaller companies, not just big ones, that we talk about sustainability in tourism and how we can actually make a difference for our planet and the people who live on it. Hospitality Alliance, as I said, I represent Wyndham on the board. Is our number one objective is to offer and to promote a more sustainable tourism, and we've done some amazing initiatives the last 2-3 years, especially when we became more and more active. Together, all the brands that they sit on the board and the team, they represent about 30-35% of the industry's total in amount of rooms. So it's a good part of our business. So my message is very simple. Sustainability, it doesn't actually start with it starts with the CEO, but it goes down to every single one of us. You can talk about sustainability in your reports, but unless it is down to every single employee and every single member of the team, you won't actually make it happen. So those who discover sustainability the last year, welcome on board. But for Wyndham, it has always been one key strategy of ours and one of our core values: how we actually build and promote a more sustainable environment and more sustainable industry as well.
So that's a wonderful response, and truly said. The other thing is, in India, we've got, different regions have different flavors. We've got a whole lot of Indian brands. We've got a whole lot of international brands. You bring in one of the largest international brands into India, right? You obviously face good times and bad times. What is your one message to the government as an international brand who wants to grow in India?
Wow, if I had one message to any government is listen to listen to what hospitality has to say. Yeah, I always say from a business perspective as well. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Get us at the table. Listen to what the industry leaders have to say. Hospitality is one of the biggest employers in the country, in any country actually. If you read what the World Tourism Organization will say, it's we are one of the biggest employers in the world. Billions of people work in hospitality. Look at the indirect and bigger, far bigger than just the hotel industry. So get us on board, give us a seat at the table, listen to what we've got to say, and remember, we are allies. We're not enemies. We are allies. We are all in this together.
True. So tell me, for the travelers who haven't been to India, how do you describe India? You've spoken about it briefly, and its hospitality in a few words.
They've done a huge mistake. Those who haven't been to India, I'm very fond of your message, the incredible India, and that I think sums up everything that you've got to offer. You know, from getting on a taxi in Mumbai, or going to Goa or Kerala, or you know, I will never forget some of the instances when I traveled across India, and I see places where all religions in the world they were together in 1 square mile. You don't see that. You know, you look at you visit the Taj Mahal, and you sit there and you're like, oh my God. And here's a guy who's been to the Parthenon, right? And I need to compete now in terms of between the Greeks and the Indians. But this is what it's important. Visit India. Enjoy the spices, the food, the flavors, the smile of the people, and the tolerance. I think India has amazing tolerance as a nation, and you've got so much to offer, and you've got so many things to teach the world. I was about a year and a half ago, when I was in a taxi, and the taxi driver said, "Oh, where do you come from?" And I said, "Oh, I come from Greece." He said, "Oh, this is amazing. What's the population of Greece?" And I said, "Oh, it's about 9 million." And he started laughing. And I said, "Well, why are you laughing?" He said, "Oh, this is like a city in India." And I said, "Oh my God, he's so right. The whole of Greece is like a city in India." And that tells me everything about what India has to offer. You know, the whole country is just a small city. So you can imagine the diversity and the amazing things. So incredible India. Just come and visit. And you haven't been, that's a big mistake.
Well, it took a very smart and happening and thinking bureaucrat to coin that and drive it, Amitabh Kant.
Okay, fantastic. I love it. I love that signal. I love that slogan. You know, incredible India.
So tell me, 1993, you said you've lived in India.
Yep.
A year and a half. Tell us a bit about that.
Wow, it was overwhelming. I was a young kid at that time, and I had the pleasure of working out of Bangalore, and I was commuting at that time between Greece and India. Fascinating. Bangalore was just growing out to be what it is today. You know, the young kids, the entrepreneurs that I met, the interesting people, the airport, that it was just a couple of hoods and a couple of buildings, and what it is today. What struck me as odd at that time, despite the duress and the difficult economical situations, I was surprised by the smile. I was surprised by the way people smile. Either you've been somebody in the streets or in a restaurant, or I was so gobsmacked, and I went back to at home, and I said, my God, man, despite the challenges, these people smile, and they're so welcoming. And if they had their last piece of bread, they would actually share it with you. That to me was an amazing lesson, because you come from Europe, and we are becoming so materialistic at some point, right? And we all think we accumulate goods. And there's a person or a family that didn't have the last piece of bread, and they were very willing to give it to you and share it with you. And that was the biggest thing that I've learned at that time. The smile, irrespective of your situation and your tolerance, and how welcoming people were, and giving you the opportunity to be with them. Huge lesson.
Tell me, you must have taken a few holidays during those 18 months in India?
Yeah, I traveled about 12,000 miles. I was writing a journal at that time. I traveled in most places across India. I've been, as I said, I've been to touristic and non-touristic places. I fell in love with Goa and the beautiful scenery. Punjab, Chennai, for different reasons. I took every weekend that I was there the opportunity to travel, get on a bus or hop on a train and travel with the locals. It was just an amazing experience. The only thing that I haven't done, if now I'm thinking about it, since I got married, then I came back and I got married a year after. I haven't brought my wife and my kids to India, and every time, my wife says, oh, when you go for business, I want to come over, we can stay a few days. I don't know if I want to spoil from a holiday, forget about the business side, if I want to spoil the image that I have of India of 1993. So I'm resisting. I kept on resisting. I know that there are so many things that I can share with my kids and my wife about India, but I've got this dream and this thing about India as it was in 1993, and hospitality-wise, I don't want to ruin it, but I've seen so many great things happening, so it will take a couple of weeks so I can introduce India to my family. That's my number one priority.
So tell me, you have something very close to my heart on your virtual screen, which is April is National Autism Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. Tell me, how close is that to your heart?
It is. I've got colleagues who have autistic children, and I've got a very close friend who is autistic, very successful. It is important. It's not just the background. Is anybody, you can use backgrounds of all sorts. But I think it is important to remind ourselves how important certain things are in our lives. And again, it's part of the learning. I could have put a nice Wyndham logo there, but I think this is important not just for Wyndham, but for us as human beings as well. So, and don't look at it. It's a month. Awareness is gone. It's every day of our lives that we have to remind ourselves that they are challenges.
Children are some of the smartest children.
Absolutely.
They have some part missing. We have a few parts missing, right? We don't realize, but their missing part is slightly pronounced, but they're very smart. I have an autistic child, in the family, a cousin's son, and my close friend's son is autistic too. Some of the smartest children. So I'm very, very happy that you put this up there, right? That sends a very positive message. And that also, in some manner, sums up Dimitris as the person I am speaking with today. Dimitri, it's really been a wonderful session that I've had with you. You're a wonderful person, right?
Thank you.
And Wyndham is in very safe, secure, big and good hands. May you do well. Yeah. May Wyndham go places.
Thank you.
And happiness to you, your family, and all your colleagues.
Namaste. And incredible India. Namaste. Thank you very much.
And look to see you soon in India.
God bless. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Cheers. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Such a
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Thank you. Thank you.